troublesome practice of Negroes running away can almost entirely be prevented. Although slaves are located on the borders of free states, whipping the devil out of them as a preventative measure, as a remedy for this disease they have running.
Most High in Christ. If I could, I just want to make sure everybody hears. You know what I'm saying? Making sure the mics are good. Everything's correct. You know, then we about to get started.
Check it right now, sir.
But if you're tuning in, share, like. It's good. I check the. Well, we don't really need to check the Facebook if it's working on the YouTube.
Come on, sir.
All right.
Shalom, shalom, shalom.
One second. Get started right now.
Okay, the speaker is fine, but some reason it's not coming out.
All right, no sweat. Let's get it. We the ISUPK starting at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commandant General Yohana. We've been doing this since 1969. Letting the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians know that you are the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And we're back on Long Island, man.
That's right.
You know, the white man is the devil. Let me just start off by saying that. The white man is the goddamn devil, man.
Right.
Slaving, you know, for damn near 2 weeks from Christmas to New Year's. You know, brother back for the class to bring out some hotness, some heat of what's going on. And what we about to get into today, we about to get into the misdiagnosis of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man. You know, you go to the doctor, you think you got schizophrenia, you got all this, but in reality, you got goddamn depression. You know what I'm saying? And your slave master knows that, but he wants to mislabel you with schizophrenia. You know why? Because he wants you dead. He wants you destroyed. He wants you out of the goddamn picture. So you know what he's gonna do? He's gonna label you with schizophrenia because he thinks you're mad. He thinks you're crazy. He thinks you're out of this mind. That why you hate being oppressed so much? You know what? He must be scared. He must be crazy. You know, and the thing about it too is we not only we gonna go over that, we're gonna go over. They did it to you in slavery. They labeled you crazy for trying to run away. You know what? They named it something, Dryptomania. But we about to get into all that. But if I could, real quick, let me start off with this one scripture. Let me get Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 28. We're gonna start there.
Come on, sir.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 28. The Lord shall smite thee with madness,
Right,
and blindness,
and
astonishment of heart.
Yeah, I don't know. Could they hear you?
You gotta come closer.
Yeah, go ahead. Read it again.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 28.
Mm-hmm.
The Lord shall smite thee with madness,
Right,
and blindness,
right,
and astonishment of heart.
right. Listen, so part of the curse in Deuteronomy chapter 28, you know, in the beginning of Deuteronomy chapter 28, it tells you what happens when we obey
Right.
the Most High. You know what I'm saying? We get blessings, but it also talks about when we don't listen to the Most High, we get curses. And right here in Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 28, it says, what shall I read it one more time?
The Lord shall smite thee with madness and blindness,
Right,
and astonishment
Listen,
of heart.
Right. Listen, the Lord's going to smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart. We're going to be stricken with all these sicknesses. And the problem with this, guess who we got to go to to work these sicknesses out? We got to go to the oppressor. We got to go to somebody that you don't trust at all. Hell, you don't want to get I don't even really want to speak about vaccinated. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to get vaccinated. You don't want to go to this devil. You don't want to go to this whoremonger. You don't want to go to this oppressor concert, the water. You don't want to go to this oppressor. But because we have what? We're hit with what, Ashar?
Madness
Uh-huh.
and blindness,
Right?
and astonishment of heart.
Listen, we gotta go to this devil. We gotta go to this oppressor. We gotta go to this person that makes money off of our backs, goddamn tax free. Right. We gotta go to him because we have these curses on our goddamn backs. But keep going, Ashar.
Yes, sir. Verse 29.
Mm-hmm.
And thou shalt grope at noonday,
right,
as the blind gropeth in darkness.
Mm-hmm.
And thou shalt not prosper in thy ways. Not prosper in thy ways.
Right.
And thou shalt be only oppressed
Mm-hmm.
and spoiled,
right,
evermore. And no man shall shall save
And
thee.
that's the point. Ain't no man's gonna save us from any of these conditions. Ain't nobody gonna save us from these curses. Ain't no man gonna save us from being oppressed. Ain't no man gonna buy your way out of oppression. Ain't no amount of money. You win the lotto tomorrow. Guess what? Ain't no amount of money gonna get you out of being oppressed. Right. You have all that money. You have all the cars, the women, the $1 million mansions, and guess what? You still a nigga driving in a Ferrari, getting stopped, asking what you doing in this car. You know what? I think you stole it. Right. And what he gonna do? He gonna have your ass right on the hood with your hands up, hands in the air, handcuffed or whatnot. And Lord, you might not make it out of that alive. And guess what? Money ain't save you. Ain't no man, ain't no money, ain't nothing gonna come here and save you from these conditions, man. Right. But I wanted to bring this scripture out to let you know that, listen, we've been struck with madness and blindness and an astonishment of hearts. That's where it all starts from. It all starts from the curse, from the curses. You know what I'm saying? But before we go on to the next scripture, I want to read this real quick. I'm not gonna go into it not gonna read the entire article, but we're gonna go into Antoine Brown, you know what I'm saying? Because before that, the brother done walked off the field and all that. They thought he was crazy. And so like Antonio Brown, the water, sir. They thought he was crazy. They thought he was out of his mind to walk out the game. To the point, like, listen, there's something wrong with him. They label him with that I forget that the disease, not the disease, no, it's a football disorder. Like when they keep getting hit in the head in the front with their front lobe, and they start getting erratic and mad, and they thought he had signs of that, not knowing this brother was he was about to get fired. His brother, the coach knew that his ankle was destroyed, that was broken, and because of that, what happened? I'm gonna read this real quick. It says Antonio Brown shares alleged text message conversation with Broncos head coach before Jets game. So let me see. It says CTE. Yeah, the water, sir. It says Antonio Brown has been making headlines since Sunday Broncos and Jets game. As we previously reported, Brown removed his jersey and exited the field mid-game without explanation, but he recently revealed he was asked to play despite being injured. In a lengthy statement, Antonio said he felt pressured to play in Sunday's game after he made a head coach, Bruce Arians, aware of his injured ankle. Shortly after, the coach Arians denied knowing about the injury, and Antonio came through with some receipts. In a tweet series of Instagram posts, Antonio shared a text message exchange seemingly between him and the coach, where he explained that he rolled his ankle and was unsure about playing. So I'm not going to get into all the text messages, but the point of this I'm bringing out is your oppressor labeled this man crazy already. They labeled him, he was out of his mind. He must have CTE. I seen the articles. I was reading it. There's something wrong with this brother. He's leaving mid-game. What's wrong with him? Think about his career. He should think about his teammates, his brothers. When he absolutely cared about his brothers, but he cared about his health more, man. He cared about his well-being, but the oppressor, the devil, guess what? He didn't care about his health. He didn't care about the well-being of our brother. to the point he wanted him to go out there and run on his ankle.
Right.
And the point I'm saying is, listen, your oppressor will misdiagnose you regardless for his well-being, man.
Right.
He don't give a damn if you have a sprained ankle. To him, you have a headache. You have pains and aches and what was it? What's it called? Arthritis. You know, go into the sauna, put some bath salts on, some Epsom salt. You know what I'm saying? Get all that, and then meet me on the field Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? And knowing you got the receipts. This brother got the receipts. He got goddamn. Listen, I wish I could show you. He got pictures of his ankle getting worked on by the goddamn physical therapy. You know what I'm saying? Still ain't good enough for your oppressor, man. A so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian. Listen, your oppressor wants you dead. And the reason why he wants you dead is because he knows you are the children of God, man. He knows that you are the children of the Most High God, and he's going to misdiagnose you whatever he can, whenever he can. But if I could, Shar, real quick, let's go to that first article because we got a few articles we're gonna get into.
The Black people mental health.
The one where it says Black people like me are being failed by mental health system is healthline.com.
Yes, I have it right here.
Yeah, read that.
Come on, sir. All right, just let me make it a little bit bigger. Okay. This is from healthline.com. Black people like me are being failed by the mental health system.
Right.
Here's how. Racial misdiagnoses happen all too often. It's time to take providers to task.
Mm-hmm.
I remember first walking into my psychiatrist's sterile office during my freshman year of college.
Right.
Ready to open up about my secret years-long battle with symptoms of serious eating disorder and obsessive compulsive disorder.
And real quick, and just remember what the article says. This is Black people like me. Black people like me are being failed by the mental health system. And here's how. Listen, it's letting you know that Black people, not just like this sister, just not like her, but me, Shar, Shalayala, all so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Listen, they are failing us with mental health out there, man. And the funny thing about mental health, we all say we should worry about our well-being, our mental health. We should take care of one another. And when we do, you know what happens? Your oppressor misdiagnose you, man. He wants to say that you're crazy and out of your mind because you know why? You're being oppressed, and he doesn't understand why. You out there dying on the street, and he don't understand why. You out there having to whore yourself out, take drugs, and try to take care of your 7 and 8 kids, and your oppressor is like, you got schizophrenia, man. You're not depressed. You have this and that, and he doesn't care. But let's get into it, Ashar. Keep going.
Concern. I felt like I was choking in the waiting room, still so anxious about being vulnerable and seeking out help.
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't told my parents, any family members or friends. These were the first people that would know what I was going through. I could barely articulate my experiences because I was consumed by my internal monologue of shame and self-doubt.
Right.
Regardless, I challenged myself and sought out support from the school's counselors, from the school's counseling center, because my life had become truly unmanageable.
Mm-hmm.
I was isolated from friends on campus,
Right.
barely eating,
Mm-hmm.
and constantly exercising, and debilitating my own self-hatred, depression, and fear.
Right. Keep going.
I was ready to move on with my life and also make sense of confusing diagnoses
Mm-hmm.
I'd received from professionals before.
Right. So listen, it's like, you know, she was being misdiagnosed by people before. So this ain't nothing new. Keep going, Ashar.
Concern. However, my leap of faith was met with a shattering sense of disappointment.
Mm-hmm.
As I tried to receive treatment for these illnesses, mental health professionals to whom I entrusted my care misled me.
Right. And listen, and that's the thing. It says I tried to receive treatment for these illnesses. Mental health professionals. Listen, these are mental health professionals, man. These professionals that's supposed to guide you in a way you should go when you have certain problems. Well, you should do this. You should take this. You should take the day off here. You should do this. Whatever it is to help your mental health well-being. That's their profession in. And it says, to whom I entrusted my care misled me. They misled this sister. And you know why? Because the white man is the goddamn devil that the Bible speaks of.
Right,
He's
so-
going to mislead you. He's going to deceive you. He's going to make you think you have something when you don't. And then we're going to get right into it. Keep going, Ashar.
Come on, concern. It says, as I tried to receive treatment for these illnesses, mental health professionals to whom I entrusted my care misled me.
Right.
My eating disorder was diagnosed as adjustment disorder.
It was diagnosed as what?
As adjustment disorder.
Listen, as adjustments disorder. Keep going.
My moodiness, a direct result of malnutrition, was mistaken for a serious chemical imbalance, bipolar disorder,
Right.
and a reaction to a stressful life change. My OCD was an extreme obsession around cleanliness, and compulsions to manage my fears around death became paranoid personality disorder. I'd open up about some of the greatest secrets in my life, only to be called paranoid and maladjusted. I can't imagine many other scenarios that would have felt like such a betrayal.
Right. Listen, it says, I opened up about some of the greatest secrets in my life only to be called paranoid. What it says? Maladjusted. I can't imagine any other scenario that would felt like such a betrayal. Listen, this sister opened up to these people, man, about her mental health. Try to seek help. You know what I'm saying? Trying to seek guidance on where she should go. And Lord behold, you know what happened? They told her, listen, you need to get on this. You're a schizophrenic. Here's the drugs. You know what? They only care about money. They only care about their well-beings. And if I could real quick, Ashar, give me Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha 37:8 real quick.
Yes, sir.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 37 verse 8, because this goes into what our sisters, and not just her, but all brothers and sisters go through. Ecclesiasticus chapter 37 verse 8.
Concern. Ecclesiasticus chapter 37 verse 8. Beware of a counselor,
Right.
and know before what needs he hath,
Right.
for he will consult for himself, lest he cast a lot upon thee.
Right. It says, beware of a counselor and know before what needed he has, for he will counsel for himself. At least he casts the lot upon thee. Listen, you got a counselor, even somebody you go for help. That's what a counselor is for. The person that you go to and trust in your secrets and trust in things that you want to get help with. Guess what? Make sure that person is here for you. Don't make sure that person is there for their well-being, because if they're there for their well-being, you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna label you as schizophrenic. They're gonna label you with OCD. They're gonna label you with all these crazy disease, and so it could benefit them. Benefit their nation of people. You know why? Because he's gonna get the money. He's gonna get the money, and he's gonna label you a nut. He's gonna label you a crazy nut that doesn't want to eat but wants to goddamn clean up everything. That's what he thinks you. That's what he's gonna label you. When deep down inside, all you have is depression because you've been oppressed in this goddamn hellhole you live in, man. You being oppressed because guess what? You go out there, you see death in every corner, man. Your oppressor is killing you in every goddamn corner, and you are depressed that guess what? It might be your son. It might be your husband. It might be your wife. So you try to go for help. You try to go to someone that to ease your pain, to calm you down, a counselor to guide you in a way where, you know what, maybe this person could help me be at ease because I can't eat. Because when I look outside, I see the death of my people, man. Well, maybe if I go to this council, it'll help me out. Well, and deep down, this council wants to make sure you are still oppressed. He wants to make sure that you still feel depressed also in this hellhole that you in. And what's a good way to do that? Label you a schizophrenic. Label you out of your goddamn mind because it's like, how could you hate America? America is amazing. You look at all the women and the cars and the money and the planes. And look at the nice areas you go. We got casinos. Listen, we got corner stores open all goddamn day. How can you be oppressed in here? How you feel depressed? Not knowing that all that is for our oppressor. It's not for us. We work goddamn 24/7. How can we enjoy anything when we're slaves in America, man? That's why I say the white man is the goddamn devil that the Bible speaks of, man.
That's right.
He's the devil because he's trying to figure out the plight of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. He never can. He could never understand how it feels to be a nigger, how it feels to be a spick or a wetback. What?
No, just I put slightly more.
How it feels how it actually feels to be a slave in America, man. He can never understand that. That's why he's labeling you crazy. He's labeling you a schizophrenic because in his mind is like, I don't understand why he's oppressed. Not even how you don't like how I'm beating you. You're not impressed by the money. You got Walmart. You could go to the store and get Pepsi 2 liters for 59 cents. You're not loving this. You gotta have schizophrenia. You must have OCD or LT. Was it CTE? You gotta have CTE because you play football all the time. You crash into the other people and hurt your brain. Listen, I'm labeling you with CTE here. Take this. Call me in the morning. Take whatever I prescribe to you, and then that's that. Wow, he's getting paid for your oppression, Ashar.
It's like saying, you got a full scholarship to go to the Ivy League school and you're not adjusting well. You must have like a personality disorder for you not to get along with all these people in here.
Right. Absolutely. Read verse 9 for me real quick.
Come on, sir. Ecclesiasticus chapter 37, verse 9.
Mm-hmm.
And say unto thee, thy way is good.
Mm-hmm.
And afterward he stand on the other side to see what shall befall thee.
Yeah, listen, and he's gonna say, and say unto thee, thy way is good. He's gonna tell you, my way is good. I'm telling you, you have schizophrenia. I'm telling you, you have these things. It's good. I'm telling you, so you can find out what it is. Not knowing he's waiting for you to fall down and realize, oh, listen, I malpractice. It happens. You know what I'm saying? I misdiagnosed them. It happens. Not knowing they misdiagnose all blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man. They mislabel you all the time. It's in history that they mislabel you. You know why? Because they want you to continue to be slaves. They want you to be continually to be oppressed. You know, America don't run without blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians being slaves, right? That's what's always has been through history. When you start doing research, you start absolutely wondering, you start realizing the Civil War was an important figure in American history, man. With the Confederates and what was it? The Confederates and what else?
The Union.
Yeah, the Unions, the Confederates and the Union, you start realizing why important that war was. Because guess what? If the Confederates had won, guess what, brothers and sisters? We still would have been absolutely whipped. You think it's bad now? Imagine how it was back then today. Imagine we have one pair of shirts and jeans and shoes to last you all the way to next year. And it better be clean. It better not have a hole in it. If it have a hole in it, guess what? You out of luck. Imagine getting whipped Monday through Friday. Well, Monday through Monday, because what? You ain't wake up early enough. You ain't do this and that. Listen, it was the Lord's will that the Confederate lost, man. I'm telling you right now, it was the Lord's will that the Confederate lost. Listen, we still slaves, but goddamn, man, listen, the Confederate wanted all blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indian slaves forever. That's how much money they were making. They were making so much money that, listen, they were talking bad about the North. But that's another class we're going to get into, where the South was talking about how the North is terrible. How the slaves from the South, guess what? You shouldn't go to the North. They're going to enslave you even more. But if I could have, Sean, go back to that article.
Concern. It says, despite hardly exhibiting the symptoms of any of these diagnoses, the professionals I interacted with had no problem piling on labels only mildly connected to my real problems. And no one had any problems doling out prescriptions, Abilify, and other antipsychotics for problems that I didn't have, all while my eating disorder and OCD were killing me.
Right. Listen, so her real diseases were killing her while they was pumping out all types of other medicines for things she don't have. So just imagine how much that happens to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Man, this is just one sister. How much of us go through that thinking, guess what? You have schizophrenia when really deep down inside you just you depressed. You looking for a way out of things, and you go to someone to help you, and they tell you you got 3 people in your mind. You're crazy. So here's the medicine. Here's the prescription. Go get yourself some of this medication, man.
Balance you out.
Mellow you out. Keep going, Ashar.
Yes, sir. Mental health professionals don't know how to diagnose black people.
Say that again.
Mental health professionals don't know how to diagnose black people.
They don't. They absolutely don't. Keep going, Ashar.
The process of being repeatedly misdiagnosed is frustrating and frightening.
Right.
But not uncommon.
But what?
Not uncommon.
It's what?
Not uncommon.
No, it never happens.
Not uncommon.
It's not uncommon for us to be not diagnosed correctly, man. It is not uncommon. Keep going.
For black people. Even when we clearly display signs of poor mental health or of a specific mental illness,
right,
our mental health continues to be misunderstood with deadly consequences.
Right, keep going.
Racial misdiagnosis isn't a recent phenomenon. There's a long-standing tradition of black people not having their mental health needs met.
Right.
For decades, black men have been misdiagnosed and overdiagnosed with schizophrenia.
Of what?
With schizophrenia.
So listen, this has been going on for a long time, man. And let me tell you real quick, this article is from what? From 2019. So it's not that far. It's not that too long ago. This is a fairly new article that brothers and sisters, and blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians know that, listen, you've been misdiagnosed for years. And it's just starting to come out.
And if I may,
go ahead, Ashar.
This didn't just happen overnight.
Right.
This person was going through this for years.
Right.
And then decided to have this article made.
Keep going, Ashar.
Concern. For decades, black men have been misdiagnosed and overdiagnosed with schizophrenia as their emotions are read as psychotic.
As their what?
Their emotions are read as psychotic.
Just think about that, man. Your emotions is read as goddamn psychotic. A black man, a black woman, a black child of emotions is read as psychotic. Ashar?
It's like I said, well, Hillary Clinton said we were super predators.
Yeah, of course. Right. When you hear someone tell you you're a monkey, you're a super predator, you're a savage, you're a rapist, a goddamn gang member, you're a pimp or whore, you nothing but a goddamn a rapist, as they said. They look at R. Kelly and look at him like, listen, they all like that. They all want to rape our children and kids. Look, go back to a few years ago when they were talking ill will about what? The blues music and weed. They used to say marijuana it was the devil and all that. They trying to get our kids to smoke weed and listen to the blues. And now what happened? They love the blues. They try to take our music. They take everything from us. After they done labeled us certain things, right? But it says right here, it says their emotions are already as psychotic. Listen, just think about that. Your emotions, you feeling hurt, you feeling oppressed. That's psychotic to the white man. You feeling that you trying to go out there and find a way to support your family and your children? That's psychotic to them. They don't understand that. And you know what? They labeling you a schizophrenic because of your emotions as a black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man, woman, and child. Ashar?
I was gonna say you just going into the room alone and crying and wondering how are you gonna feed your family and your kids. They're gonna say you're psychotic for doing that.
You walking off the goddamn football field because your mental health is more than goddamn a $1 million paycheck. He must be psychotic. He must have CTE. He must be a schizophrenic to do all that. Listen, they can't understand our plight, man. They can't understand what it is to be black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, man. Ashar?
Yeah, how can you be rich and not happy?
Right. Keep going, though.
Concert. Black teenagers are 50% more likely.
What?
Black teenagers are 50% more likely than their white peers.
Right.
Than their white peers to show signs of bulimia.
Yeah, listen, it says black teenagers are 50% more likely than their white peers to show signs of bulimia. That's like, we walking around out here starving ourselves, man. We walking around here starving ourselves, throwing up, trying to feel like, I don't deserve food. I'm fat. I'm this, I'm that. And you know why? Because it comes from oppressed. It comes from you being oppressed. It comes from your mother and your father being on drugs. Right. Guess what? And that's from your goddamn oppressor, man. Keep going, Ashar.
Concern. But get diagnosed significantly less, even if they have identical symptoms.
Right.
Black mothers are at a greater risk for postpartum depression, but are less likely to receive treatment.
Right.
Even though my symptoms for both illnesses were standard, my diagnosis were blurred by my blackness. I'm not the thin, affluent white woman many white mental health professionals imagine when they think of someone with an eating disorder.
Right.
Black people are rarely regarded as a demographic dealing with OCD. Our experiences are forgotten or ignored.
Right, man. Listen, and that's how our oppressor is. They don't know how to treat blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. They're not looking for our well-being. They only know about how their people operate, to the point where, listen, man, they don't even know that much about autism and women's and girls. They don't even know that much about them. You know why? Because they don't care. They have to wait till the goddamn the girl is what in her teens damn near before they label her with autism. That's letting you know where they fit. They put their values in certain things. And one thing, they don't put their values in black, Hispanic, and Native Indians. They don't know how to goddamn treat us. To the point we go to the hospital, what happened? They think, listen, they think we goddamn Wonder Woman and Superman. They think we could take the pain out of nowhere. They think we could take a bullet to the chest and then not complain about it. They're like, where's your pain from this chart? 1 to 10. Brother was like a 20. And was like, yeah, he must be crazy. There's something wrong with him, because there's no one ever label a 10, and as long as I've worked here, that's how they think, man. That's how they think about blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. They think we are absolutely invulnerable, invincible, but yet we're still monsters. We're still gang members. We still violent savages, murderers, rapists. We still all that. You know what I'm saying? And feel no pain. But Shar, keep going.
Yes, sir. For black people dealing with mental illnesses,
right,
especially ones that don't stereotypically fit, these are serious roadblocks to our wellness. As for me, my eating disorders stayed active for over 5 years. My OCD escalated to the point where I literally couldn't touch doorknobs, elevator buttons, or my own face. It wasn't until I began working with a therapist of color.
What?
Began working with a therapist of color.
Listen, a therapist that's your own people, man. Somebody that's did the lookout for your well-being. A person that look like you. A person that understands your plight. A person that's oppressed and depressed just like you are. That's the person who's going to help you out. That's the people who we need to start worrying about. You need to worry about your own people. Ashar?
Like Denzel Washington said in one of his recent films that had a black director.
Right.
He basically said when asked about if Scorsese or Spielberg could have done the movie, he was like, they could have done each other's movies,
Right.
but they don't know what it smells like or what it feels like to have a hot comb go through your hair.
Right.
Because it's a cultural thing.
Mm-hmm.
You can't expect a white woman or a white man who grew up and went to a nice school and had both mommy and daddy or knew where mom and dad was. You can't expect them to know how it feels to grow up in the slums, to grow up eating generic cereal with water, to know what it's like to put sugar inside your water and call it sugar
Government cheese and all that. Yeah.
They don't know. They can't relate to that.
Yeah, they can't. They absolutely can't. And we're gonna get into a lot more stuff, but finish up with this paragraph.
Concern.
Or this section. Salaki, go ahead.
It wasn't until I began working with a therapist of color that I received a diagnosis that saved my life.
What?
Saved my life and put me in treatment. But I am far from the only person to have been failed by the mental health system. The facts are staggering. Black people are 20% more likely to experience mental health problems compared to the rest of the population.
Keep going.
Black children under the age of 13 are twice as likely to die by
Wait, read that again.
Black children under the age of 13.
Under the age of 13. So if you have a child that's under the age of 13, keep going, Ashar.
Are twice.
Keep going.
As likely to die by suicide.
Keep going.
Compared to their white peers. Black teenagers are also more likely to attempt suicide than white teens.
Listen, man, that's just letting you know how much we're being oppressed, man. That's letting you know how much our kids, not just the parents, but our children are feeling the pain that we go through, man. Listen, I don't know about you, but I remember hearing black people don't commit suicide. I remember that, right? Committing suicide, killing yourself is only a white thing.
Guys said that at camp. We're at a 0.00% like chance he was saying that thing to Officer Shalal or to Captain Tazariak.
That what black people don't commit suicide. Y'all good. Y'all don't know why y'all killing each other for. This is why we need to put our trust in the Most High, man. Right. This is why we need to come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments and start loving each other, because we gonna keep regurgitating that garbage saying we don't kill each other when our kids are out there not understanding how to deal with the struggles of life, not understanding that. And you know what they're gonna do? They're snuffing themselves out of here, man. And you, guess what? Your child what's gonna happen to you? You gonna go in there, feel depressed, and guess what they're gonna do? They're gonna misdiagnose your ass with schizophrenia, knowing your son or daughter just died of suicide. You're not crazy, but guess what? Your doctor's gonna label you crazy. And guess what? Here's some schizophrenic pills. Go ahead and feel better about yourself. When you need counseling, you need counseling from a real person, a man of God, man, to get you through what you're about to go through from a suicide from your kids, man. Just think about that. It says 20%. So it says black children under the age of 13 are twice likely to die by suicides, man. That's letting you know, like, our mental health is absolutely important in this hellhole. And to get it all together, we absolutely need to start loving each other first, man. That's why gathering together before the creed come, I'm paraphrasing, in the scriptures is important. Because how else are we going to make it out there as a nation of people if we can't goddamn get our mental health together? How the hell we going to rule the goddamn world if we got schizophrenic and OCD and CTE or WWF or whatever other goddamn acronym it is out there? How the hell we going to rule over these other nations and show them, guess what? We could rule you, and we could make sure the world is a better place. How can we do that when we are absolutely running around crazy out here and we don't want to seek no help? The only help we want to seek was what? Another blunt, another whore,
Another bottle of liquor.
right? Another bottle of liquor, another a fentanyl pill, whatever the hell it's called. Whatever it is to get your mind off the goddamn oppression and depression that you're in, man. If I could, Ashar, go to this scripture before we go to the next article. It's in the same book. Give me Ecclesiasticus chapter 11, verse 29.
Yes. 29.
Yeah, chapter 11, verse 29.
Concern.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 11, verse 29. Read when you got it.
Bring not every man into thine house.
Always read this the scripture.
Concert. Ecclesiasticus
Mhm.
chapter 11, verse 29. Bring not every man into thine house,
Right.
for the deceitful man hath many trains.
Right. It says that bring not every man into thy house, for the deceitful man have many trains. Listen, a deceitful man, listen, you bring that person into your house, you bring that person into your comfort, you let him know all your secrets. You let him know all this and that. It says, bring not every man into thy house. For the deceitful man have many trains. Listen, he has many sports. He has many educational things to guess what? To make you fall. To make you guess what? Tell me more about yourself. Go to the psychologist. What are you gonna say? Tell me about yourself. Oh, you had a rough childhood, have you? Your mama left you, didn't she? Right. Your father wasn't there. He was he beat you all the time, didn't he? Tell me more. And that's what he listens for 30 minutes. He was like, that's it. And you like, what? I'm about to get it all out next week. Next week we'll finish this. We're gonna finish this next week, and then we're gonna continue where we left off. And guess what he's gonna do? He's gonna bill you for $1,000 for that first 30 minutes where you could have went to your goddamn brother, a person that should be in your house, a person that's your own brethren of flesh and blood, a brother that you could have just relied on and talked to. Guess what? He would have told you that for free. He would have told you off the strength of brotherhood for free. Right. But you let a deceitful bastard in your house. Guess what? He has many trains. Right, Khan, sir. This deceitful man has many ways to get you to talk about anything. Keep going, Ashar.
Khan, sir. Verse 30. Like as a patriarch taken and kept in a cage,
right,
so is the heart of the proud.
Right, so that's a bird. Keep going.
And like as a spy watcheth he for thy fall.
Right, listen, like a spy watches thee for thy fall. Listen, he watches you when you fall. Just think about the person who's diagnosing you. He knows you. Come back next week. He's waiting for you to fall. He's waiting for you so he can take your money. Just anybody who diagnoses you, he's waiting for you to fall. And guess what? Diagnose you with something else. Oh, listen, you might not have schizophrenia. You might have such and such. Here's this. Take this. Oh, that didn't work for you? Here, take that. Take this. And what he's doing, he's goddamn making money off of you. That's right. He's waiting for you to die. So what he's going to do? Go on to the next Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, man. Keep going, Ashar.
Sir. Verse 31. For he lieth in wait and turneth good into evil.
He do what?
Lieth in wait and turneth good into evil.
Listen, he turned good into evil. Guess what? It's a good thing to try to take care of your mental health. But when you deal with a evil bastard, a deceitful one at that, guess what? He turns good into evil. He makes it evil. You know why? Because he diagnosed every Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian with schizophrenia. Right. He labels every Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man, guess what? A murderer. Right. He labels all of us rapists, right, child molesters. He labels all that. The things we trying to find out to be good, he labels it evil. Right. Keep going, Ashar.
Concern. And in things worthy praise, will lay blame upon thee.
Listen, and things that worthy to be praised, guess what? He's gonna blame it on you. He ain't gonna never take the blame. The things that's supposed to be good. Listen, you supposed to be wanting to get cured of schizophrenia if you have it. You're supposed to take that medicine. You're supposed to do this. You're supposed to. It's supposed to be praised that you went to a counselor, a doctor, and get this worked out. But when you find out that you don't have schizophrenia, when you find out you've been misdiagnosed, guess what? It's your fault. It's your fault. You know why? Because I didn't know how to treat you. Well, you should have known that you didn't have schizophrenia. You should have known you was depressed. Why didn't you tell me you just was depressed, man? Why didn't you tell me you couldn't eat? Why didn't you tell me you had all these problems? It's because the white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of, man.
No, sir.
There's no reasoning with this bastard at all. None. Keep going, Ashar. Finish up.
Come on, sir. Verse 32.
Wait, not. You can stop there. Verse at 31. Now, what I want you to do, right? We're gonna go into the next article.
Come on, sir. The misdiagnosing depression for schizophrenia.
Right, with the Science Daily.
Science Daily, come on, sir.
Let's get into that real quick.
Here we go. African Americans more likely to be misdiagnosed with schizophrenia, studies finds.
Right.
The study suggests a bias in misdiagnosing blacks with major depression and schizophrenia.
Mm-hmm.
This was from March 21st, 2019, from Rutgers University.
Right.
It says African Americans with severe depression are more likely to be misdiagnosed as having schizophrenia, according to a new Rutgers study. The study, which appeared online prior to being published in the February 2019 issue of the journal Psychiatric Services, examined the medical records of 1,657 people at a community behavioral health clinic that included screening for major depression as part of its assessment for schizophrenia in new patients.
Right.
By definition,
Mm-hmm.
schizophrenia is a diagnosis of exclusion.
Right.
Clinicians must rule out other potential causes of symptoms,
Mm-hmm.
including mood disorders,
Right.
before the diagnosis of schizophrenia is given.
Right. So they have to rule out mood disorders before they can even diagnose you with schizophrenia. That means they got to make sure you're not depressed or any other thing that might ruin your mood. They have to rule that out first before labeling you out of your goddamn mind with schizophrenia. Keep going, Ashar.
Said Michael Gara, a professor of psychiatry,
Mhm.
at Rutgers Robert Wood Johnson Medical School,
Right.
and a faculty member at Rutgers University Behavioral Healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
However, there has been a tendency for clinicians to overemphasize
There's been a what?
the relevance of psychotic symptoms and overlook symptoms of major depression in African Americans,
Right.
compared with other racial or ethnic groups.
Right. So it's letting you know right here that they misdiagnose blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians when it comes to us compared to white people, man. Keep going, Ashar.
Also, sir, if I may,
Mm-hmm.
not only white people, but Africans,
Right.
Asians, Arabs.
Absolutely.
No study showed that African Americans with schizophrenia are more likely to also have major depression.
Mm-hmm.
The study, which looked at 599 blacks and 1,058 non-Latino whites, which means non-Hispanics, basically.
Right.
They were just white people. Found that clinicians failed to effectively weigh mood symptoms when diagnosing schizophrenia among African Americans, suggesting that racial bias, whether conscious or subconscious, is one factor in the diagnosis of schizophrenia in this population.
Mm-hmm.
Other factors include genetics, poverty, and discrimination, as well as symptoms caused by infections and malnutrition early in life. The individuals from a racial minority group also might feel hopelessness
Right.
or mistrust when being assessed by someone from a racial majority group.
Right. So it's letting you know right here, an individual from a radical minority group also might feel hopelessness or mistrust when being assessed by someone from a racial minority group. Listen, how can they diagnose us when they don't understand us? How can they? It's letting you know right now about genetics, poverty, discrimination, and as well as symptoms caused by infection and malnourished in early life. Listen, this devil don't understand anything about poverty and discrimination, man. They don't know anything about that. They don't know anything about being malnourished. You know why? Because they got all the goddamn money. They rule the goddamn planet. They rule the planet so much that you remember those old feed the children commercials in Africa.
Yeah.
And they would make right. And they would make fun of the little African boys. They would make fun of the flies and their pot bellies. And I remember them saying, how you want to feed them when you look at them, their bellies are full. That's how ignorant they are. That's how much money they have that they think those little African boys and girls with fat bellies, they being fed. Well, goddamn, they're dying for all the goddamn gas in their goddamn stomach. But that's the oppressor we deal with. That's the devil we have to deal with every day, trying to misdiagnose you with goddamn schizophrenia. That's the devil we deal with. Keep on, Ashar.
Concern. Other factors include genetics, poverty, and discrimination, as well as symptoms caused by infections and malnutrition early in life. Individuals from a racial minority group also might feel hopelessness or mistrust when being assessed by someone from a racial majority group,
Right.
which could affect how they act and how clinicians interpret symptoms, Gara said. The findings suggest that clinicians put more emphasis on psychotic than depressive symptoms in African Americans.
Right.
Which skews diagnoses towards schizophrenia, even when these patients show similar depressive and manic symptoms as white patients.
Right. So it's like, listen, African Americans and white people can show the same symptoms, and guess what? They're gonna label Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians with schizophrenia before they label a white man or white woman.
If I may,
It
sounds like they're already predisposed to just say it's going to be psychotic more than depressive.
Right. Especially with us. You know why? Because what they look at us as crazy anyway. They look at us as savages and monkeys. We civilized y'all. Right. So already in their mind, they thinking he has two people in his brain. He's crazy. Here, take this medicine. Whereas the docile white boy who shoots up his school, he's misguided. He didn't know no better. He needs to be talked to.
He needs help.
Yeah, he needs help. But us, there's no helping this man. We tried helping them for over 400 years. We gave them food. We gave them water. We gave them education. We gave them a God, and they're still crazy. God help us all. But with the white man and white child and the white baby, we are not loving them enough. He's shooting up people on the street because his mother has to work at Walmart during the COVID-19. He needs more love, man. He needs more love from our people. That's what they say.
Well, sir, let's not forget, if I may, let's not forget when mom gets on the radio and says, little Tyrone or little Jamil or little Jose, they were in church every Sunday. They were good church boys. Oh, well, they should have known right from wrong then. So they're just psychotic.
We're absolutely. Finish up real quick, Ashar.
Where we at? The findings suggest that clinicians put more emphasis on psychotic than depressive symptoms in African Americans, which skews diagnoses towards schizophrenia, even when these patients show similar depressive and manic symptoms as white patients.
Right. Okay.
Inaccurate diagnosis can have serious consequences, Gara said. Mood disorder treatments differ from those for schizophrenia, and the prognosis for these conditions is typically more positive than for schizophrenia. These patients who may have major depression and psychotic features or bipolar disorder and who are misdiagnosed with schizophrenia do not receive the optimal treatment, putting them at risk for the worsening of the underlying disease process or for suicide. Also, the side effects of medication taken for schizophrenia, such as diabetes and weight gain, can be serious.
Yeah, listen, man. At the end of the day, this is letting you know that so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, listen, you need to start going to your oppressor to get your mental health fixed and taken care of, because he's going to label you crazy. He doesn't know how to treat you. He's gonna treat you like the psychotic monster that he sees you as. While his children, his people, you know what? He's gonna love them and rock them the right way so they could be healed and go home and murder some other children. Go and shoot up their school. But you, he's got to throw you in jail first before he can help you. He has to make sure you're in jail behind bars and on a schizophrenic medicine before you get proper help. You have to have life in prison for you to be helped. That's all. That's how he sees it, or you're dead. At the end of the day, we need to absolutely run away from this monster, this devil, because if we don't, we're going to forever be misdiagnosed by this bastard. And your mental health is not going to be cured. All it's going to do is we're going to keep following into the loop of being diagnosed wrong.
Worse.
Yeah, or even worse. If I could drop that, right? Now let's get into the watch yard. You see that? You see that? What you call it?
Yes.
Let's get
History Channel.
Not the History Channel.
It says history. The Japotomia.
Yeah, it should be on the watch yard though.
Yes, sir.
.com. It says, did you know in the 1850s? You see that?
1851.
Yeah, that's part of the
Console.
paragraph.
I'll just make it a little bit bigger.
Yeah, that's it. All right, now before you start reading, let me go on this. And now, what we about to do, right? Listen, this is how you know the white man's the devil. The white man's the devil because he does this now, and like we all know, there's nothing new under the sun. He does the same thing to us during slavery. And what we're gonna bring out is there's two types of diseases that our oppressor labeled as gave us. Because guess what? You wanted to run away from slavery. Or because he thought you was too lazy, guess what? You have some type of disease.
There's a disease for wanting to be free.
There's a disease for wanting to be free. And it was a sickness to your oppressor. And we're going to go over that. Ashar, read when you can. Start off.
Yes, sir. Did you know that in the 1850s, a Louisiana scientist claimed to have found a disease called Japotomia.
Right.
Japotomania.
Tryptomania.
Tryptomania.
Right.
Which made slaves run away from their masters.
Wait, what? What was this disease? Read it again, Ashar.
A disease called Tryptomania.
It's a disease. Remember, this is 1850 in Louisiana. A scientist said he found what disease, Ashar?
A disease called Tryptomania.
Right.
Which made slaves run away from their masters.
Listen, case closed, right? Case closed. You a slave? Any slave that ran away, guess what? It was the disease. Listen, that's why you know the white man's the devil, man.
Right.
You trying to run away from picking this cotton? There's something wrong with you,
I don't
man.
want to be whipped no more. I got to
There's
leave.
something wrong with this man. He don't want to run. He want to run away from me trying to save him.
I can't keep getting raped. I got to run away.
I'm trying to civilize this man, and he's running away. There's something wrong with this brain.
I can't keep watching my grandparents.
Go
get
ahead.
lynched.
It's the same thing applies to what you did. Like if you decide I'm leaving this job, I'm gonna leave and just start my own business.
Right.
What?
Like you must be something's wrong. with you.
Something's wrong with you.
Job.
You left, right? You left your job, right?
With benefits?
God, listen, and this is where it comes from. We about to get into it. Go ahead and shall read it for the top one more time.
Concert. Did you know that in the 1850s, a Louisiana scientist claimed to have found a disease called Tryptomania, which made slaves run away from their masters?
Keep going.
It sounds crazy,
All
but it's true.
right.
In May 1851, Dr. Samuel A. Cartwright published
Right. Just remember this. I want everybody to look this up. This devil's name is what, Ashar?
Dr. Samuel, Samuel, A. Cartwright.
Hey, look this
Cartwright.
devil up. Look him up, because this is not the only. It's 2 diseases. This is just the first one, but there's multiple diseases this devil came up with that we so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians suffer from. Samuel A. Cartwright. Keep going, Ashar.
Published a paper entitled "Reports on the Diseases and Physical Peculiarities of the Negro Race" in the New Orleans Medical and Surgical Journal.
Remember, listen, and this was published in a New Orleans Medical and Surgical Journal. So it was a real disease back then, they believed in.
But sir, it was a reputable scholarly publication.
Right. This is so scholars. This is something that was new.
Groundbreaking.
Groundbreaking. Go ahead, Ashar.
That claimed that black ran away from their masters because of a disease.
Keep going.
Dr. Cartwright claimed to have discovered 2 new diseases peculiar to blacks that he believed justified enslavement as a therapeutic necessity for the slaves and as a medical and moral responsibility for their white masters.
Listen, that's what.
Can I read that again?
Go ahead, Ashar.
You hear this shit? Oh my God, log in. Dr. Cartwright claimed to have discovered 2 new diseases peculiar to blacks that he believed justified enslavement.
Right. Listen. So he's letting you know, it's justified me keeping you as a slave. Keep going, Ashar.
But sir, as a therapeutic necessity.
Right. So slavery is therapeutic. That's what, I don't know why you running away for. This is where you supposed to get your ease at. It's picking this cotton.
You can't make this up.
Picking cotton right here. Keep going.
For the slaves and as a medical and moral responsibility for their white masters.
I have to keep you a slave for your well-being. I have to make sure you pick my cotton and be whipped so you can have a better life, so your children could go up and prosper.
But sir, he says as a medical responsibility.
Yeah, I have to make sure. You can continue to be a slave so you can stay alive and be healthy. Keep going, Ashar.
He claimed that blacks who fled slavery suffered from.
Wait, what?
He claimed that blacks who fled
Harriet Tubman did what?
Fled slavery. Suffered from.
Harriet Tubman suffered from what? He said
drapetomania.
Listen, that's how you know the white man's the devil. Harriet Tubman is running away from this medical genius, man.
Nat Turner.
This medical cure, Nat Turner. Right. Also, any nigga you see out there running away from their slavery, you want to run away from Walmart, nigga, guess what? You suffer from drapetomania. Yeah. It's making it a comeback.
Do drapetomania apply to America when they wanted to get free from England or from the so-called?
Nah, it's just.
Oh, it's only for blacks.
But the thing is, we gonna keep reading, keep going. It's gonna get better. Keep going.
In his words, and I quote, "A runaway slave is mania, mad, or crazy. It is unknown to our medical authorities, although its diagnostic symptoms be absconding from service, is well known to our planters and overseers." So that means your bosses and the police.
Right.
And noticing a disease that, therefore, is hitherto classed among the long list of maladies that man is subject to.
Right. So he's like, there's a bunch of things that we suffer from. This is added on to it. Keep going, Ashar.
So like, I just want to look up the word maladies. It's short for malady, and it's a disease or ailment. I never seen that particular word. It's like a long list of maladies that the man is subject to. It was necessary to have a new term to express it. The cause in most cases that induces the Negro to run away from service is as much a disease of the mind as any other species of mental alienation and much more curable as a general rule.
Man, I know this thing. It's funny. It's funny, but it's not funny. It's funny because that's how they think. That's how white people think. They could not understand what it means to be a slave to the point where he's running away from me trying to cure him. There's something wrong with him. He's got to be out of his mind if he wants to run away from this good work I'm giving him.
Don't you know McDonald's is good
Right.
for you?
He could be in the jungle.
Right.
Making monkey sounds while I'm here civilizing him. Yes, no, monkey sounds. Monkey sounds. You know they say that. We make all these monkey sounds. We in there being on drugs, being cannibals.
Savages.
Yeah, being savages. That's what they thought we are. Right.
Kill-
That's what they thought we are.
Kill the Indian, save the boy.
Why, right. Why would you, how dare you run away from what I'm trying to make you a better man? How dare you? He has a disease. Keep going, Ashar.
Concern. To further prove his point, Cartwright pointed out that the Bible.
Wait. He tried to do what now?
Pointed out that the Bible calls for a slave to be submissive to his master. And by doing so, a healthy slave will have no desire to run away.
And this is why, listen, this is how you know he's a deceiver. Because he takes parts and pieces from the scriptures and try to twist them to let you know, listen, see, you should be a slave to me. You should listen to me. Where and this is where so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians get that so-called knowledge. See, look, white man gave you this book. He made that book made you a slave. You see that Bible? That's the reason why we're in this predicament now. And listen, you forget about your goddamn the white man standing right there. Ashar?
Counselor, I guess he forgot, if I'm not mistaken, on the 7th year, the servant can go free. And on the year Jubilee, everyone is allowed to go.
Right.
He didn't want to read that part.
Listen, there's a whole bunch of parts. There's a parts where there's no usury, there's forgiveness if you owe somebody something. There's a whole bunch of things, but your oppressor only wants you to know to be a slave. Continue to be a slave. But keep going, Ashar.
Concern. If the white man attempts to oppose the deity's will by trying to make the Negro anything else,
right,
then the submissive knee bender, which the Almighty declared he should be, by trying to raise him to a level with himself, or by putting himself on an equality with the Negro, or if he abuses the power which God has given him over his fellow man.
Yeah, look at that. So right here is letting you know that he's saying that he gets this power from God. I'm getting this. I'm doing this because God gave me the power to do this to you. Keep going, Ashar.
Concern. By being cruel to him or punishing him in anger, or by neglecting to protect him from the wanton abuses of his fellow servants and all others.
Yeah, so this is going back to what I'm saying, huh? Why will you want to leave? I'm trying to protect you from other white people. I'm trying to protect you from the wild out there. I'm trying to make sure that you're fine, and you want to run away from this? Keep going, Ashar.
Concern. Or by denying him the usual comforts and necessaries of life, the Negro will run away.
Right.
But if he keeps him in the position that we learn from the scriptures he was intended to occupy, that is the position of submission.
Right.
And if his master or overseer be kind and gracious in his hearing towards him, without condensation, and at the same time ministers to his physical wants and protects him from abuses, the Negro is spellbound and cannot run away.
Yeah, listen. Oh man, listen, the white man's the devil, man.
Right.
He letting you know all this to let you know, just stay here. Stay here and be a slave for me. If you don't want to do it for you, do it for me. Pick that cotton for me, man. God gave me the right to do it. Keep going, Ashar.
Concern. According to Cartwright, this malady was a result of masters who made themselves too familiar with slaves, treating them as equals. If treated kindly, well fed and clothed with fuel enough to keep a small fire burning all night, separated into families, each family having its own house, not permitted to run about at night to visit their neighbors, to receive visits or use intoxicating liquors, and not overworked or exposed too much to the weather. They are very easily
Drop
governed.
down to the next part where it says Cartwright proposed.
Cartwright proposed that there was, in fact, a cure for this runaway
Here
slave
we
disease.
go. Keep going.
With the advantages of proper medical advice strictly followed, this troublesome practice that many Negroes have of running away can be almost entirely prevented.
Mm-hmm.
Although the slaves are located on the borders of a free state within a stone's throw of abolitionists. And the cure was even worse than the idea that there was an actual disease that caused human beings to run away from oppressive and violent situations.
Mm-hmm.
Cartwright stated that if a master started to see that a slave was sulky and dissatisfied without cause,
Right. So if you start seeing your slave like, what's going on, man? You looking real sick over there. What's going on with you? You don't want to pick cotton. What's going on? Ashar, keep going. What happens next?
it was a warning sign of imminent flight.
Listen, this nigga about to run. There's something wrong. He ain't working today. Oh, you don't want to do this work. It's hot. It's too hot. I don't know, man. You looking real sick like your brother used to do. Your brother used to do the same thing, Ashar.
That's like, oh, so you're writing to human resources.
Right.
We're gonna have to fire you before you leave.
Right. Keep going.
Concept.
Right.
His prescription to stop the disease from fully taking over the slave, as he writes with his very own words,
Mm-hmm.
whipping.
What?
Whipping.
What?
Whipping.
When all else fails, what?
Whipping.
That's what he always does, right? Keep going.
Whipping the devil out of them.
Wait, what?
Whipping the devil out of
No,
them.
not the white man is the devil, but the black man is the what?
Whipping the devil out of them.
Listen, I gotta whip the devil out of you because you want to flee. Yeah. You want to leave from being a slave. You've been picking cotton all day to sun up, and you trying to run away. And he said, you got a disease to run, a disease to imminent flight. So I gotta whip the devil out of you. I gotta make sure I whip you till you don't have that spirit to run ever again. Keep going, Ashar.
Concert. Whipping the devil out of them as a preventative measure.
Yeah, that's one measure. That's one. Ashar, you want to say something before?
Concert. Two things, sir, if I can. That's like this has trickled down to our own families.
Right.
So much that if you tell your mother that Jesus wasn't born on December 25th, you have the devil in you, because that's not what
Right.
we've been taught. You get disowned.
Mm-hmm.
And then here it says, as a preventative measure, you go to the dentist for a yearly checkup to make sure you don't have cavities, so you don't have
Right.
major issues. That's a preventative measure. You get a physical examination every year to make sure there's nothing seriously wrong that's developing in you, as a preventative measure. Here they're saying they have to whip the devil out of you as a preventative measure of this so-called disease from growing and spreading. That's like saying I'm gonna take these pills to combat the stage 1 cancer before the cancer gets to stage 4 and I die.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
Keep going.
As a remedy for this disease, the doctor made running a physical impossibility by prescribing the removal of both big toes.
So listen, you can't listen. If you remove both your big toes, you can't stand. Damn near. Damn running, you're not gonna be able to stand. So guess what? That's one of the cures. This disease, you know what? We could cure it. Cut off his big toe, man. Cut both off his big toes and get him to work. And you know what's the thing about it? Listen, and the thing about here is, if you've been paying attention for months, you know everything comes in full circle, because it also goes back to when we did the class on being disabled. When you was a slave and you was working with disabled, guess what? You had no what you call it? Right. You didn't have no workers' compensation. You ain't have no pass. You still had to do the work. You had to still do the work. Shar, keep going.
Concern.
There's a lot more.
As a remedy for this disease, the doctor made running a physical impossibility by prescribing, if I may. Like when you said you get prescribed, Tylenol. You get prescribed, some ibuprofen. You get prescribed some type of a fluid to help, clear your stomach out. Here they're prescribing. Imagine the doctor getting one of those pink slips and remove both big toes. He's saying he's by prescribing the removal of both big toes. That's insane. Cartwright's paper was published widely throughout the South, but was seen as a joke in the North, where satirical articles were written about it. Frederick Law Olmsted, the father of American landscape architecture, who is famous for designing Central Park, satirically hypothesized that since white indentured servants coming to the Americas had been famous for fleeing their servitude, the supposed disease was actually of white European origin. There goes your answer.
All right. Keep going.
And had been introduced to Africa by Caucasian traders.
Of course. Now let's get to the next one. Keep going.
But this is not the only disease that Dr. Cartwright, who was a self-proclaimed expert on the maladies of the Negro race, had discovered. According to his scientific writings, he had also found a mental illness called dysesthesia Ethiopica, which made blacks lazy in their work. Dr. Cartwright said that a sign of this illness was a partial insensitivity of the skin, and so great a hebetude of the intellectual faculties as to be like a person half asleep.
So listen, so he basically saying the other disease that black people had was to be lazy during slavery. He's not doing enough work, and it's, where it comes to? It comes to from the skin. The skin is the reason why you being lazy. This is what this devil thought of. But keep going, Ashar. I want y'all to hear what was the cure for all this.
Concern. Cartwright then went on to say that this illness is much more prevalent among free Negroes living in clusters by themselves than among slaves on our plantations, and attacks only such slaves as live like free Negroes in regard to diet, drinks, exercise, etc.
And what's so heavy about this? This goes back to I don't know, I forget if I mentioned it earlier. I think I already mentioned it earlier in the class. But right here, you gotta remember, this is a southern state right here. And you in the South, you was not free.
Louisiana.
Right, Con. So he's talking about up north. So like before, the people in the South used to tell the slaves down there, you don't want to go up north. You don't want to be like those niggers up north. Because why? Because you think they're free, but they're lazy. They're fat. They don't exercise. They don't work hard as you do. They're not better than you. That's what they would tell the slaves. To the point where what? You think the Negroes up north is bougie. You think the Negroes up north is I can't be like you. You don't work hard. You ain't this and that. To the point what? That even today we still have the same goddamn beef with the South and the North. You hate your goddamn brother in the South, not just because of the way he talks, because what? His goddamn lifestyle. It's the same thing with right here in the South. You talk to someone in the South about a New Yorker. What he gonna tell you? What he gonna do? I don't like them New York niggas. I don't like that. They think they flashy. They try to take all our girls, man. Oh, I got something for them. Listen, it comes back to us to this day. And guess where it all stems from? The white man who's the goddamn devil.
Right.
Keep going, Ashar.
Concern. According to Cartwright, nearly all free Negroes are more or less afflicted with it. that have not got some white person to direct and to take care of them. Once again, his cure for this mental illness was violent and horrible.
Mm-hmm.
According to Cartwright, because insensitivity of the skin was one symptom of the disease, the skin needed to be stimulated.
They needed to be what?
Stimulated.
Listen, these devils love using stimulated, man. Listen, we gotta do something about his skin because his skin is trying to preventing him from being lazy. Keep going, show. What happened?
Cancer. It says the best means to stimulate the skin is first to have the patient well washed with warm water and soap.
Now let me tell you something. Don't this sound like something your grandma and your mother used to do to you when she was angry? I'm talking about she about to whip you. What she tell you to do? Go in the shower first.
Damn.
Go get wet first. No, it is. Absolutely. It is child abuse. But I'm trying to get people to understand that those traditions come from what? Your slave master.
Yeah.
Your grandma got this. Why? Because the slave master did it to her father. To her. Yes. All that. The belt. All that. Sir. All that. And guess what? All that is the mentality like this devil here. To cure you from a goddamn sickness that you don't suffer from. To try to cure you from something you should not be doing. What so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian need to be goddamn picking cotton from sun up to sundown to your oppressor? You should be doing that faithfully. You should be doing that without talking. You should be having a goddamn smile on your face if it's up to the oppressor. But the time you want to not just be a little bit lazy in picking the cotton, just to take a little day off mowing the goddamn lawn, taking a little 15-minute break, a little bit longer. What happened? You got a disease. You want to leave? You want to run away from being a slave? Guess what? He suffered from dryptomania.
Cut off his toes.
Cut off his goddamn toes. That's the type of man we deal. Not man, beast. That's the type of beast we're dealing with out here, man. Keep going, Sharina. What else it says? You gotta wash.
Concern. First, to have the patient well washed with warm water and soap.
Mm-hmm.
Then to anoint it.
To what?
Anoint it.
Uh-huh.
All over in oil.
Listen. That's how you know he's a devil. He's not gonna just pour oil on you, he's gonna anoint it. If you don't understand what that means, is he's gonna pour oil all over you. Because when you get anointed, guess what? That oil is coming down on your head, man. You anoint somebody, that's a blessing from the Lord to get anointed. But guess what? That oil comes all the way down your hair and your beard, and it's dripping because you've been blessed you've been protected been blessed by the goddamn Most High in Christ. So this devil said, listen, I'm going to anoint you in oil. Keep going, Ashar.
And to slap the oil in with a broad leather strap.
So not only that, I'm gonna oil up this belt and whip you with it.
I'm gonna beat the oil in you.
I'm gonna beat the oil in you. Keep going.
Concern. Then to put the patient to some hard kind of work in the sunshine.
So not only that, not after I done beat you, I gotta put him to work to make sure this disease goes away. To make sure you out there, not you out there oiled up, frying, but you also whipped, got goddamn death. Remember, you wet too. This is listen. The white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of. I can't say that enough. I can't. And his action shows more. And the funny thing about all this is he doesn't want you to know any of this. He's trying to hide it. You go out there and tell somebody, y'all used to do this. He'll straight up deny it. He'll be like, I don't know what you talking about. We ain't never do this. You bring this out. Me reading this is astounding. Because we ain't never heard this before. This will let you know all the traditions that we grow up with and doing. Guess where it comes from? It comes from the wicked mind of our oppressor. You think it is your grandma trying to help, try to take care of her babies or her grandchildren when she learned that from her father. Her father learned that from his grandma, his father. And guess where it comes back? It comes back from somebody in your family trying to run away. Somebody wanted to just take a little break from working to, guess what? They got whipped. That's where all these goddamn traditions come from, man. If you could, Shaw, finish up.
Concern. After the prescribed course of treatment, Cartwright said the slave will look grateful and thankful to the white man whose compulsory power has restored his sensation and dispelled the mist that clouded his intellect. Basically, he just beat you into submission.
Mm-hmm. Let me see something. I just want to see this other article real quick that goes into the Driptomania.
Concert. Want me to stop sharing this?
No, we could. We don't have to go into it. That's good. But let's go into the scripture real quick.
Concert.
Let me get Psalms chapter 10, verse 4. Psalms chapter 10, verse 4. Let's get that.
Psalms chapter 10, verse 4. Let me just share the screen. Psalms chapter 10, verse 4.
Mm-hmm.
The wicked, through the pride of his countenance, will not seek after God.
Right.
God is not in all his thoughts.
Right. So it says the wicked, through the pride of his countenance, will not seek after God. God is not in his thoughts. Listen, we dealing with a man that don't seek after the ideas of God. We deal with a man that deals with the ideas of himself. Clearly, we see that. And his ideas, guess what? We're schizophrenics and maniacs and OTC and CTE and dryptomania and what I don't even know what the other one was. I forget what it was, whatever it was about being lazy. But that's what they think of us. In reality, what they should really be thinking of us is the children of God, man. People who's going to put them in a goddamn slavery. And the thing about that is, once we are ruling over these people, guess what? We're going to do the same thing to them. We're going to label them with some type of diseases. Oh, he don't want to work, y'all. Look at him. He don't want to build a kingdom. He's dealing with jactophobia. And what we going to do? We're going to cure that. Go get his son. Go get his son and get his daughter. Put them in water, and guess what? Go let them run around. Whatever it takes to get him to work harder. He doesn't want to work. Well, listen, give his food to other people. Give his clothes, give his house to somebody else till he comes out of this sickness and this disease. But it's like, you know, the bastard that we deal with, he don't have God in his intentions at all. Keep going, Ashar.
Yes, sir. Verse 5. His ways are always grievous.
His ways are what?
Always grievous.
Right.
Thy judgments are far above out of his sight.
Right.
As for all his enemies, he puffeth at them.
Yeah, listen, he puffeth at his enemies. He don't give a damn.
Right.
He don't care about who his enemies are. You know why? Because he rules the world. He has all the power and the might. He has the power of the air, the ocean, the goddamn bombs, all the food markets. So he laughed at all his enemies. Hey, what you gonna do to me? Keep going, Ashar.
Concern. Verse 6. He hath said in his heart, I shall not be moved.
I shall what?
I shall not be moved. For I shall never be in adversity.
I will never be in adversity. I will always be on top. I could always diagnose you with this, and who's gonna stop me? You? This article damn near told us what he does, and what's gonna happen? You're gonna still go to this bastard and get misdiagnosed with schizophrenia or whatever other mental disease there is, and he's gonna say, "Who's gonna stop me? Who's gonna punish me for labeling you with a sickness that you don't have?" Giving you medication that you should not be taking that could legally that can most likely kill you. Who's gonna stop me? Keep going, Ashar.
Concern. Verse 7. His mouth is full of cursing and deceit,
Right.
and fraud.
Yeah, listen, that's the white man to the T, man. It said his mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. He does all that today, right? He's frauding us. He's deceitful. He's cursing. Listen, you know how he's gonna curse you, right? He's gonna label you a predator. That's a goddamn curse. You walking down the street, what happened? You and your friends are all rapists. And guess what happened? You go to jail for 30 years, come out and realize, listen, they ain't do it. While the woman who put you in there got what? A book deal. She got money. She prospered, and when she's on her deathbed, she said, "I lied." And that's that. At the end of the case, the same thing with Emmett Till, right? Took the lady goddamn to how old was the lady? How old was the lady? The one that lied on Emmett Till. She like in her 80s. Her 80s, yeah.
Didn't she die?
I could swear she was still alive. She died already?
I thought she died, yeah.
Yeah, she was up there. She waited till she was good of age to be like, "I lied about it. Go buy my book." And then you can realize why I lied. That's the type of people we deal with, man. That's the type of devils we deal with, man. His mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity. That's all it is, man. Mischief and vanity. That's the beast we deal with. Keep going, Ashar.
Concern. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity.
Right.
Verse 8. He sitteth in the lurking places of the villages.
Mm-hmm.
In the secret places doth he murder the innocent.
Right. He said he sitteth in the lurking places of the villages. You know, he sits in our towns, right? He sits in those police cars, in the cut. And not only that, you see those medical spots you have around your neighborhood? That's him. He sits there secretly. He's there waiting for you to come on in. Oh, what's coming on, man? Come on, Mr. Smith. What's wrong with you today? Well, how can I help you? I know I was feeling this type of way. No, listen, we're going to help you out. We're going to do a few tests. We're going to run this and this. Well, we got your results back. It looks like you got dryptomania. Dryptomania. I don't know if you ever heard of it, but that is something that is a dire need to be cured for. And I got the right cure for you. And what he was going to do, he's going to prescribe you some schizophrenic medicine because he don't give a damn about you at all.
Right.
He's going to prescribe things for you that doesn't even go with your sickness. He's going to prescribe things to you that it shouldn't even be labeled as. Like the dryptomania is a wild imagination. Dryptomania?
DRAPE.
Dryptomania, right.
DRAPETOMANIA.
Right.
Yes. Anyway, sure.
Kind of like, listen, he's gonna diagnose you with that. You know why? Because I don't know why you don't want to be a part of America. America is a good place. God bless this country, and you want to leave it? Yeah, here, I'm gonna prescribe you with 3 types of medicine. You let me know which one helps you out the most, and then we're gonna prescribe that the strongest dose for you, because we can't have that here. We need you here working hard, man. I can't have you afford for you to run away. That's what he's gonna do. He live and secretly as so like he said lurking in a place of the village in secret places, though he murdered the innocent. He's gonna murder you in these secret places. These places where you going to get help, places you trying to go for your mental health, he's there to murder you. He's there to destroy you. He's there to break up the goddamn 12 tribes of Israel. That's why he's in your villages, man. That's why he's there in our neighborhoods, gentrifying it. Not just only to kick you out, to make sure whatever place you're going to next, you're destroyed even more. Keep going, Ashar.
Yes, sir. His eyes are privily set against the poor.
Right.
Verse 9. He lieth in wait secretly as a lion in his den.
He does what?
Lieth in wait secretly as a lion in his den.
Uh-huh.
He lieth in wait to catch the poor.
Right.
He doth catch the poor when he draweth him into his net.
Yeah, listen, and that's how he is, man. This type of bastard, he's gonna lie and wait for you. And when he has you, you know what he's gonna do? He's gonna murder you, he's gonna catch you in the neck, and then he's gonna devour you. And the thing right here is letting you know what he does to the poor. He absolutely takes advantage of the poor because you know why? The poor is looking for any type of way to get help. If it's mental help, if it's food, if it's from depression, if it's whatever, for a job or with their kids, guess what? They're looking for help. And guess what? Your oppressor is there at every nooks and crannies in your village waiting to catch you in the goddamn net and destroy you. This is why so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, not only should we gather together, but we should absolutely leave this oppressor alone. Do not go to any of his establishments, any of his offices, his supermarkets. You know why? Because we could do better without him. We've done it thousands and thousands of times. You know how much times in history we came together and made different Black Wall Streets? If you leave it to him, we only had one Black Wall Street. And he bombed that. But history lets you know that he doesn't like telling you certain things. The oppressor doesn't like to encourage you to get together with your brothers and sisters. And if you knew that, guess what? You would knew that there was thousands of Black Wall Streets. But the problem with that is they drowned some of these Wall Streets. They demolished some of these Wall Streets. They blew up some of these Wall Streets. Hell, they even kept some of them. They kicked you out and kept some of these Wall Streets for themselves. And the thing that never changed about all the times we went to these places was we never had the Most High God on our side, man. You too busy doing what? Celebrating Christmas, celebrating Thanksgiving, doing New Year's. You want to be black owned everything, but you don't want to have the black God on your goddamn side, man. You don't want to have the Bibles and the law, statutes, and commandments that's supposed to help you with your sicknesses, with your mental health. You don't want none of that. And that's in the scriptures, man. If I could, Ashak, real quick, give me Exodus chapter 15, verse 26.
Yes.
Show you real quick. That's in the scriptures, man. If we had the laws, statutes, and commandments, if we followed the Most High in Christ, listen, we will be healed of these mental sicknesses. Not only that, the devil that's roaming this earth, this oppressor, he wouldn't be bothering you no more. If I could, Exodus chapter 15, verse 26.
Concert. Exodus chapter 15, verse 26.
Mm-hmm.
And said, if thou wilt diligently hearken to the voice of the Lord thy God, and will do that which is right in his sight,
Right.
and will give ear to his commandments, and keep all his statutes, I will put none of these diseases.
I will put what?
None of these diseases.
Yeah, listen, and said, if thou will diligently hearken unto the voice of the Most High God, the Most High thy God, and will do the which is right in his sight, and will give ear to his commandments and keep all his statutes, I will put none of these diseases upon thee. Listen, the Most High God will put none of these diseases upon us if we will listen to what he wants us to do, man. If we were supposed to love your brother like you love yourself, guess what? You wouldn't have these mental diseases. You wouldn't have gout and goddamn diabetes and whatever that's out there plaguing us. You know why? Because your father would love you and you wouldn't have anything. What else does it say, Ashar?
It says, I will put none of these diseases upon thee, which I have brought upon the Egyptians, for I am the Lord that healeth thee.
And what's so important about this is all these diseases, all the stuff we suffer from, that's for the heathens, man. That's for them. It ain't for us. The things we go through and suffer from, and you just heard it from right here, it's for the Egyptians, man. It's for the other nations that suffer from what? Schizophrenia. Mental the mental health that you go through, the depression, feeling oppressed, guess what? That's for the goddamn heathen. So if you serve your higher power, guess what? You wouldn't be feeling how you feeling today. You wouldn't be feeling that at all. But if I could, Sean, give me another one. Give me Exodus chapter 23, verse 25.
Exodus chapter 23, verse 25.
Right.
And ye shall serve the Lord your God, and he shall bless thy bread and thy water.
Well, yeah, it says if you should serve the Most High thy God, and he shall bless thee with bread and thy water. Listen, the Most High God is letting you know it's gonna provide food and water. What else, Ashar?
Bread and thy water. And I will take sickness.
I will take what?
Take sickness.
Schizophrenia is what?
Sickness.
Being oppressed and depressed is what?
Sickness.
Feeling like you want to run away from slavery is a what?
Sickness.
Keep going.
I will take sickness away from the midst of thee.
Yeah, listen, I will take the sickness away from the midst of thee, man. This is letting you know when you serve a higher power, especially your father, the God of heaven that's in the Bible, guess what? He's going to take the sickness away. He's going to make sure you won't suffer the things that your oppressor wants you to suffer from, man. He's going to make sure that you're capable of running this goddamn planet if you serve the Most High God, man. And this is why it is absolutely important as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we start relying on each other more, man. Stop relying on your brother to diagnose you. Let him tell you have schizophrenia. Let him decide if you are crazy or not. Because guess what? Your brother knows your plight. Your brother know how it is to go out there and feel like a slave. To feel depressed because he don't know how the hell he's gonna make it through this work week because it's not gonna be enough money at the end to feed him and the family and pay rent and the utilities and all that. And find a way, how the hell am I gonna get to work after all this? He's gonna understand your plight. Let your brother figure out if you crazy or not. We do it anyway. We out there on the street anyway doing it, right? You out there seeing a brother, look at him, he's a drunkard. You know, and listen, it don't take no education to know that. A brother that's high off marijuana, a brother that's high off any type of drug. You don't need no goddamn white man to tell you that. We diagnose brothers and sisters every goddamn day. And guess what? It might be harsh. It might be harsh. We might be telling you, why the hell why you over here like that, all high on the goddamn street? It might be harsh, but it's love. We're letting you know, get yourself together, man. Get yourself together. And that's what Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians need to do. Professionally and non-professionally. Because we out here non-professionally telling Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians to get yourself together.
Right.
You got a brother right there on the street that loves you and seen you on crack all his life. I've seen it. When I was growing up, there's one brother that's been high forever. Since I was in school and out of school. And ever since we seen him, we've been telling this brother, yo, get yourself together, man. You don't know what it's like to be sober no more? You're always high. Don't you want to know what it's like to not be high? As Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we know at least somebody out there who's been asking for help. And guess what? We need to help them. We need to absolutely help them. You know why? Because God wants us to help them.
Right.
The Most High wants you to help your brother and stop being selfish and just trying to help yourself. Hell, listen. Y'all went out there doing New Year's Eve, right? Celebrating a goddamn magic ball drop to do what? Try to better yourself for the goddamn New Year's. And instead of worrying about yourself, worry about your goddamn brothers and sisters, man. Ashar?
And if I may, Salaki, but you can't help yourself because we've been left to ourselves for such a long time, and we've been trying to help ourselves for such a long time, and struggle by ourselves for such a long time, and try to overcome by ourselves for such a long time, and it has failed each and every time.
Right.
How about you just let the men of the Lord help you? Just let the men of the Lord take care of you. Let the men of the Lord fix you, just like the men of the Lord fixed the people back then.
Right. Absolutely, man. What was that?
We were on Exodus 23 and 25.
All right, come on. Let me you could drop that. Give me the last scripture. Give me Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7.
Yes, sir.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, verse 22.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, verse 22. For wisdom, which is the worker of all things, taught me. For in her is an understanding spirit, holy, one-onely, manifold, subtile, lively, clear, undefiled, plain, not subject to hurt, loving the thing that is good, quick, which cannot be letted, ready to do good.
Right. So the point is, I'm like, like this is the wisdom that we should have as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. We go to these people that try to treat us and try to diagnose us with whatever our problems is, and thinking they have wisdom, and they have no wisdom, man.
Right.
Our oppressor has absolutely no wisdom. Only so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indian. You're the only one who could attain this type of wisdom. You're the only one who could attain this type of knowledge that's goddamn God sent on the goddamn earth. That's why, if you could read it one more time, I'm sure what wisdom is.
For wisdom, which is the worker of all things,
Is the worker of all things. Keep going.
taught me. For in her is an understanding spirit, holy, one-onely, manifold, subtile, lively, clear, undefiled.
Right, undefiled. Remember, that's undefiled. To have wisdom, you have to be undefiled. And the beast that we deal with is absolutely defiled. He's out there defiling the whole world. He's defiling the ocean, the air, the ozone layer, the
Birds,
trees,
the
the birds, right, the bees, the goddamn to space. He's defiling it. That's why, listen, when the Lord comes, he's going to cleanse everything. It says undefiled, keep going.
Plain, not subject to hurt.
Right.
Loving the thing that is good.
Right.
Quick, which cannot be letted. Ready to do good.
Listen, and that's what wisdom is. You have to have all these characters, these traits, and to let you know, as I said, our oppressor does not have any of this. He's not capable of having all wisdom that's goddamn God sent. But keep going, Ashar.
Concern. Verse 23. Kind to man,
right?
Steadfast, sure,
right?
Free from care,
right?
Having all power,
right?
Overseeing all things, and going through all understanding,
right?
Pure and most subtile spirits.
All right, listen, and that's more on our understanding of wisdom. Keep going, Ashar.
Concert. Verse 24. For wisdom is more moving than any motion.
Right. So it's like, for wisdom is more moving than any emotion. So that's like, the wisdom is the most important thing out here. It's more important than any other thing on this earth moving. Keep going, Ashar.
She passeth and goeth through all things by reason of her pureness.
Right. Keep going.
Verse 25.
And this is an important part right here.
For she is the breath of the power of God.
She is the what?
The breath of the power of God.
And that's what happens. That's why we need wisdom, man. That is why it's important, so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians to get wisdom. Not only to get it, we're the only ones who can get wisdom. Because it says, for she is the breath of the power of God. And guess what? God don't know nobody else but the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man. His wisdom is your wisdom. And because of that, we absolutely need to attain this wisdom. And once we get this wisdom, what happens? You could diagnose your brothers and sisters without fearing that he's going to make a mistake, that she's going to make a mistake. You don't have to worry about somebody that's trying to kill you because guess what? You feel that you're going to be oppressed. Or someone that thinks you're lazy, what? He might diagnose you with this and then whip you to goddamn death.
Cut off your toes.
Right, or cut off your 2 big toes. That's not going to happen when you have wisdom. When we have wisdom, we're going to finally understand brotherhood and sisterhood. And guess what? We're going to take care of one another and won't have to worry about being oppressed no more.
Right.
And once you stop being oppressed, guess what happened? All your mental health issues will go away. You won't have to worry about buying drugs. You won't have to worry about being a whore or a hooker or selling your goddamn body on OnlyFans, man. If you're a man or a woman, because men do it too. Don't front that it's just women. Men sell their goddamn bodies too on OnlyFans.
Yeah. Or on the street.
Yeah, listen, everywhere. It's not just OnlyFans. It is everywhere. But the point is, listen, we need to understand that wisdom is here to save us. It's here to get us out of goddamn slavery. It's here to get us out of oppression. But keep going, Ashar. Finish it. What else does it say?
Concern. For she is the breath of the power of God.
Right.
And a pure influence flowing from the glory of the Almighty.
Right.
Therefore, can no undefiled
There's
thing.
what?
Therefore, can no undefiled thing fall into her.
Right there. And that's the important part. That's the part that we needed to understand. You heard all the things about wisdom and what wisdom is about, and you get to the end and you realize there is no undefiled thing fall into. That means there is nobody who's a bastard, who is a beast, can ever have wisdom, man.
Right.
Especially from God. There is none. There is no African, there is no Arab, there's no Chinese, no Japanese, there's no ancient Chinese secrets, there's no Buddha in a goddamn dress or whatever.
No ancient remedies.
Yeah, ain't none of no wisdom comes from God, comes from any other nation but a nigga on the goddamn street.
Right.
But a Spanish woman in Puerto Rico, guess what? She got wisdom, man. That brother out there that's battling the oppressor, that's on the goddamn the renovations, your brother, your Native Indian brother, guess what? He got all the goddamn wisdom in the world. You know why? Because it comes from God. It comes from God himself that gave all our brothers and sisters wisdom. And right here is like, ain't no other goddamn heathen in the world can have wisdom like you can, man. It says there ain't no... So like, where was it?
Verse 25, sir.
Therefore can no undefiled thing fall unto her. No undefiled thing could fall unto wisdom, man. She's so pure that she would never touch somebody that would defile her. She wouldn't go to a goddamn heathen. And that's what's so beauty about wisdom, because guess what? She doesn't love everybody either. She only loves Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man. She loves only you. Just like how God only loves Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, guess what? She's on the same accord as the Father. And this is why it is important as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians that we absolutely obtain wisdom. Because wisdom is the key of getting out of here. Because guess what? They try to have wisdom with each other, right? They share the concepts of life to the point what? They telling they fellow brothers, like, listen, if a slave's trying to run away, he has dryptomania. And because of that, this is what you need to do. I'm going to write it down. I'm going to write a book and distribute it to everybody. That's how they spread their wisdom to one another, right? That's how they talk about us to one another. So let's get our wisdom and spread our love and knowledge to our people about them. Let's spread our knowledge to them, to us, and let everybody know, guess what? They're going to be locked up. They're going to be in chains. They're going to serve Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians to the point where they're going to have dryptomania. We're going to be like, how dare you try to run away from me trying to civilize you? You, the white man, you trying to run away from God's blessing? You got dryptomania, man. You thought it was for Blacks, but really it's for you. So because of that, I got a cure for you. Come here, man. Let me write this prescription. Go to Shalaya Allah. Here, take this to Shalaya Allah. He's going to cure you up. And you know what Shalaya Allah going to do, right? We all know what Shalaya Allah going to do, man. But the point I'm trying to make, listen, man, let's gather together.
That's right.
Let's gather together and make this happen. The only way it's going to happen if a nigga Tyrone loves Jeffrey down the goddamn block. Instead of shooting your brother over some goddamn clothes and whores and money, how about y'all gather together and then you can have multiple wives? Y'all all could share money. Y'all all could share this clothes. Because guess what? That's in the scriptures too. They don't talk about that, right? They talk, that's in the goddamn law that guess what? I could borrow your coat. I just got to give it back though. I just got to give it back, right? Ashar, you want to say something? Go ahead, say it.
And it's not relevant.
Oh, okay, God. But God, but the point I'm saying, like, listen, we have laws, statutes, and commandments for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man. We need to start following them. That is the key of getting out of here. Because if we don't, guess what? You follow this man, he's gonna keep labeling you with all these diseases. And with COVID here in effect, who knows what's the next disease that's going to be labeled for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man? You already essential workers. You trying to stop being essential? Guess what? Dryptomania will come back. He'll remember, oh, listen, they had dryptomania before. It looked like it's making a comeback now. It look like it's coming back now. He don't want to work. He trying to run away from being an essential worker. Well, listen, we got a cure for that. Cut off his toes. Well, now it's cut off his paycheck. Cut that paycheck. Cut off his insurance. Make him part-time so he doesn't have full-time insurance. So maybe he'll think about not running away now. Maybe he'll actually stay now because his insurance might be gone. Shalayala. Right, give him a stimulus check. Give him a one stimulus check of $1,400 for a year. God, give him a tax return. Give him the child fund. Give him all this so he won't run away.
Educational credit.
Yeah, all that. So he'll stay. That's the new whipping. That's the new beatings. That's the new cure for the plague of being a slave in a goddamn America for the black man.
And the whole thing goes back to oppression make a wise man mad.
Right, Con, sir.
Gift destroys the heart.
Right, oppression make the wise man mad, but the gift destroys the heart. Absolutely, sir. And that's exactly where it goes back to. That's exactly what it goes back to. But with that, we the ISUPK coming out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commandant General Yohana. We've been doing this since 1969, letting the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians know that you are the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And like we say every other week, we have food programs, we have food drives, we have real counseling. We ain't gonna counsel you and counsel you wrong. You know what I'm saying? We have prison programs, we have classes damn near Monday through Monday. You know what I'm saying? And if you could, tomorrow we have Let It Be Known at 4:00, man. Tune in while we be there talking about more oppression that Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians go through and the cure to it, man. But that's my time, Israel Shalom.
That's right.
With the advantage of proper medical advice strictly followed, this troublesome practice of Negroes running away can almost entirely be prevented. Although slaves are located on the borders of free states, within the devil